Hi, welcome back to C Programming. I'm Dr. Vasu. In this video, we are going to see some more applications of looping with the for, while, and do while. If you want to learn more about C Programming and many other interesting topics, please do subscribe this channel. If you like this lecture, please hit the like button. That will keep me motivated to create more such videos in the future. Now let's jump into the topic and suppose you want to see the input data here. Generate a series of 10 numbers starting from a particular number. Suppose in the previous videos what we have seen is we have given some number and done that. But here the input data is given like this. So here we want to generate 10 numbers starting from a particular number given by the user, right? Suppose here enter a number of your interest and that is read as number and 10 numbers starting from this number. Now, so the for loop is used here, initialized with 0. N is taken as 0 here. Please observe. And this continues till n less than 10. Okay. And incrementing of n here. And print the number. Number is incremented by 1 here. Right. So the program is over. And let's compile this and execute. We get the system asks, enter the number of your interest. Suppose I have given 100, right? What happens? 10 numbers starting from 100 are printed. Okay. Suppose if we have given some 12. So starting from 12, it prints 10 numbers. So like that. So here the input value is given. From this number, it displays the 10 numbers. Okay. Now, suppose generate a series of n number of numbers starting from a number entered by us. So here we have two options, right? How many numbers are to be generated and from which number, both are to be given by the user here. So here we have taken three variables, n, p, and a number. Enter a number of your interest that is stored as a number, and how many numbers are required. Suppose I want to start from 10 to 15, or how many numbers are required. That is assigned to p here. And here just it prints number starting from which number, right? How many numbers? P is the number of numbers. How many numbers means here it displays. So these many number of numbers starting from which number, right, is displayed. And the for loop is used here, initialized with the 0. It runs or continues for p number of times, less than p, right? Now, write the same program here. And when you compile and execute, it asks two input values. One is the number of your interest. Say I have given 201, right? Now, how many numbers are required? So I can give 5, 10, like that. Suppose I have given 5. So what happens? 5 numbers starting from 201 are displayed here. So only 5 numbers starting from 201 are displayed. So here we have given two input values. Basing on these two input values also, we can use this looping. Now, we'll find out a factorial using a for loop, right? Suppose we have, here we have taken 3 variables. One is n, factorial is equal to 1, and a number. Okay. Whose factorial is required? You have to enter that. So once you enter a value, that particular number's factorial is calculated. So here n is initialized with 1 and continues till less than or equal to this number which we are entering, and incrementing is done here, and fact is equal to this factor which is initialized with 1 here being the beginning. That means initially it takes a value 1 and this 1 into n. Here n is 1. Initially n is 1 and that's it. So here when the loop continues, n value becomes 2 and in this place we get 2. Earlier it was 1, 1 into 2, 1, 2 here. This fact becomes 2 now. When it continues, n becomes 3, right? Already the fact value is 2, 2 into 3, 6. Like this, the loop continues and we get the final result here. The result is displayed here, that's all. So complete the program, compile and execute it. You get that it asks, so whose factorial is required? Suppose I have given 5. So it calculates and the factorial of 5 is 120. It gives the factorial of this particular number which we have entered. Now, using the same program is written with the while. Factorial is found out with the help of while. Here, the n value is initialized in the beginning as compared to the earlier one. And the fact, of course, is initialized with 1. This number is entered by the user and that is assigned to this number. This loop continues for this while n is less than or equal to this number. Okay. Now the fact, of course, is equal to fact into n. The n value is incremented here and the final result is displayed. The number, right? And that is the factorial of here the number comes. Number means the number which we have entered and the result is fact. So this fact gives out here. Compile this and execute. It asks which factorial is required. Suppose I have given 6. Now the factorial of 6 is 720. It calculates here, this loop calculates the factorial of this 6 and it displays the value here. Okay, this is using the while. Suppose in this I did a mistake. What that mistake is, earlier in this program I have initialized the factorial is equal to 1. Now the mistake is the factorial is not initialized. The fact no initialization takes place. I forgot. That means what happens is when you are not initialized, the value taken by the system is 0. So this factor now is coming into the loop and is multiplied with n, whatever may be the number of n. 0 with n, 0. That 0 is assigned to this. Whatever may be the number of times this loop is executed, the fact always is 0. That means this 0, finally the result you get is 0 here. So the result will be 0 because of this initialization is not done properly. So compile this and execute. It asks some number, say 10. I want a factorial of 10. What happens? Factorial of 10 is 0 because of this problem. So we have to be careful in using the initialization also. So be careful in the initialization of the variables. Suppose sum of n numbers starting from a particular number. I want to add all the numbers. What happened? How? Let us see. Here we have taken some variables n, p, and a number temp, and some is initialized as 0, and enter a number of your interest. That is assigned to number, and this number is stored temporarily here. this temp is used, this temp variable. Of course, all these are all integers. This temp is for temporary storage of this particular number. Let us see why. How many numbers are required? How many numbers? We have starting number is this. How many numbers? That is assigned to P here. And the numbers are whatever the numbers we have asked, these numbers will be displayed with the for loop. So here the for loop is initially n value is taken as 0. It continues till when this value n is less than p. It continues when p is n is less than p and incrementing. And here it prints that particular number, and also the summing is done here in the loop. The sum initially is taken as 0, and of course the number, suppose I have entered some number 10 here. This 10 is taken here. 0 plus 10 it is assigned to 10. So the sum value is now 10. Next, the number is incremented. The 10 becomes 10 plus 1, 11. Okay, it closes and continues here. 0 becomes n is equal to 0. It becomes 1. 0 plus 1 n. So n value is 1 now. It continues till how many numbers you have given, depending on the p value. Suppose if it is 5, this continues for 5 times. So the value of sum is 10 earlier. Now 10 plus the number has become, here it has become 2. So this number is added. So like this will be adding the this loop will be continued here, and we'll be getting the final sum of all the numbers we have entered. But here, if you observe, the temp I have taken, what for this temp is stored initially is this number is in the process, the value of this number is changing. Initially, this number is read here, and later on the number plus 1, and it is going on adding, and finally the value of a number is different as compared to the earlier one. That's why we have stored the initial number, this value of a number, in a temporary variable. I'm using this temporary variable here. Why? The sum of, right, these many numbers, how many? Say suppose 5 numbers. Sum of p numbers starting from which number? This is the number we have entered. Starting value, right? That's why this temp is used. And of course, this sum is this final value after adding up all the numbers. So like this. So let us see, compile this and execute the number of your interest. You give some number. You entered some 10. What happens? How many numbers are required? How many you want to add? Some 5. So the numbers are here 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 5 numbers you got it, right? These are the 5 numbers. That is number 10 plus 1 becomes 11. Next 12. Next 13, 14. Like this, the number has changed. And every time this changed value of number is being added to sum here. So the final value of sum is the addition of all the summation of all these 5 numbers. So sum of 5 numbers starting from 10 is 60. That's how you can calculate any series of numbers, right? Starting from a number of your interest. Okay, next. It's an interesting example or interesting application of this for or while loops here. Suppose you have given a number, right? It has some digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I want to reverse that digits, right? Let us see how it is done. Suppose I have taken a number, that is the number which you are entering, that is taken as number, and I have taken another variable called right digit. It can be any one, but just to have a clear picture, I have taken right digit. Now, why the number is not equal to 0, this loop will be continued. Okay, how long? You see the loop. The statements in the loop are right digit. I want to get the right digit, the number which you have entered, modulus 10. That means, suppose I have entered 123. 123 modulus 10 means the remainder 3 is, you will get 3. That 3 is taken as the right digit now. That 3 becomes the right side digit. Okay. Now you are printing that right digit, whatever you got it. Now this number which you have entered, that is 123. 123 divided by 10 means integer division. Here the values are taken or integers. So 123 by 10 means you get 12, right? 3 goes. It is not a floating variable. It's not a floating variable to get decimal places. Because this is an integer division, you get 123 by 10 as 12. So that 12 is assigned to number. Okay. Now number is 12. It continues. Number is not 0. Fine. It continues. Number 12 modulus 10. 12 by 10. Remainder is 2. So the right digit is 2 now. This right digit is printed as 2. Earlier it printed 3. Now 2. Like this loop continues till this number is not equal to 0. Right? When the number is not equal to 0, it will be continued. And finally, close the program and compile this and execute. It asks the number of your choice. Enter a number, any number, right? We have entered, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? It's an interesting number. The number, once you run this program, it reverses all the digits, right? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is it not interesting? So here, the way of reversing the digits in a number is this, using a while loop. Okay. Now, suppose if you want to do the same thing with the do while, it will write the same thing, same logic is applied, and here the number is taken, right? And the number modulus 10 is considered, that is taken as the right digit, that is displayed here, and integer division takes place, right? So same everything is taking place, and this program is done with the help of a do while loop. Okay, complete it and compile and execute. You get, suppose you have given a different number, suppose 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you run this program, you get an output of the reverse of these digits. It reverses all the digits and gets it. Okay, fine. Now, suppose I want to calculate the GCD of numbers, right? The GCD here, for this, we take 3 variables, right? U, V, temp, right? So, enter 2 non-negative integers. It is asking for non-negative integers. Fine. And these values are assigned to U and V. So, we are entering 2 values, 2 positive values. What happens? While V is not equal to 0, this following loop will be continued. This following loop will be executed when V value is not equal to 0. Okay. Now, U, some first value, U modulus V is taken, and that is, you get the remainder. That remainder is stored in the temp here. Okay. Now, V value is assigned to U. And this temp value is assigned to V. Actually, these values, V is assigned to U, and the whatever the remainder you get, that is taken as V here. So for that, we have taken the help of temp. So this loop will be continued. The remainder becomes the V here. So complete this, and finally the U value will be displayed as a GCD. So here, if you see greatest common divisor, right? Okay. So you have entered two non-negative values or two positive numbers. When you enter two positive numbers, right, it asks, right, 25, one is, and another 15. The GCD is 5. The greatest common divisor of these two numbers is 5. So like this, we can find out the GCD of these numbers, right? Continue is a very interesting application in the loops. This continue, let us see what this continue is. Suppose we are printing, we are displaying some 1 to 10 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that, up to 10. But I have some interest on number 5, and I don't want to a particular number or a series of numbers, some numbers. I don't want to print or display some numbers. Let us see how it is done. Okay, you have taken n here, initialized with 0. This loop, we wrote a loop here using while n value less than 10. This will be continued. And here we have taken the loop. Here we have written if n is equal to 5 is equal to double 2 times we write equal to. When n is equal to 5, continue. What happens here? Very interesting thing is, initially we have taken n is equal to 0. It enters into the loop because it is less than 10. N becomes 0 plus 1. So n value has become 1. No problem. It is not 5. So next statement will be executed. So it prints 1. Like this, it continues. 2. Okay. 3. Like this. N value has become 4 plus 1. That is 5, suppose. Then, if n is equal to 5, when n value is become 5, continue means it continues, it remains in the loop, but it won't execute the remaining statements in the loop. This statement after continue in the loop will not be executed, but still it will be in the loop. So when 5 is there, 5 is not printed because this statement is not executed. So what happens? This when it is 5, it comes out and comes in to the beginning. 5 plus 1, 6. So 6, it is not 6, so it continues. 6 is printed. So like this with the help of this continue, we will be able to do with some numbers, right? At some place, we will be able to do something with this, and will still be in the loop. Okay, you'll understand with the help of the output here. Suppose we have in this n is equal to 5, I said continue. That means when n is equal to 5, it has not executed this statement. That means it has missed the value of 5. It didn't print. It didn't display the number 5, except that all the numbers are displayed. All the 10 numbers are displayed here. Okay. So like this continue is a very particular or peculiar application now in the case of these loops. Now, suppose another interesting thing. I want to print up less than n, right? N value less than 100. I want to print some numbers. What are they? Each number is 10 times added, right? The addition is, suppose initially 0, 0 plus 10. That means I want to increment each number by 10, 10, 20, 30 like that. So that means up to 10, 100, I should get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 like that. But I don't want to have these numbers 40 to 60 greater than or equal to 40, that is 40, 50, less than or equal to 70. That means 40, 50, 60, 70. I don't want these numbers to be printed. So I'll write this. If the number is greater than or equal to 40 and less than or equal to 70, continue. Means when the value of n has become 40, it won't print. It comes out and comes here. 50. Again, it is satisfying this condition. It will not be printed. Comes out. 60. Again, it's not. This is satisfied. So it won't print. 70. No. 80. It is not satisfying that condition. So it executes this one. So 80 is printed. So like that, let us see. Compile and execute the program. You get an interesting output. 10, 20, 30. Missing 40, 50, 60, 70. Right? 40 to 70 are not there. Okay. So except that all the other 6 values are displayed. Isn't it interesting? Yeah, fine. So this is one application. And another thing is number of variables in loops. So far we have seen, suppose I value only we have taken, or n, something like that. This is initialized and some condition for the loop incrementing. Also, in these loops, we can have other variables also, like initialization, initial variables. Here, I and j also, and both are initialized here. And condition may be only with one variable, right? And incrementing here. Or even the condition is only with one variable, right? Plus, you have 2 variables here. Both are initialized here. And the condition and incrementing of both the variables can be done. I incrementing by 1 and j incrementing by 10. Both the variables can be modified, right? Also, j can be initialized with 100 and j can be decremented by 10 every time. When the loop continues, when the loop is rotating, what happens? The j value initially 100 may be decremented by 10 like this, but I value is incremented. Depending on the condition, you can have any number of variables like this. So even it's not only assigning the value here, initializing, even you can declare this variable in the for loop. In the for loop, this counter is declared as an integer and also assigned a value here, right? Counter, initialization and declaration. Loop continuation, condition, incrementing, right? This is the declaration. Similarly, you can declare any number of variables. Integer n, also initialized. Integer p, this is a comma. So this p is also an integer and assigned 0 value. This loop will be continued n less than or equal to 100. So incrementing of n. So like this, you can have other variables also in the loops. Okay. Hope you had understood this topic. And if you have any queries or suggestions, please do comment below. Thank you very much.